Story number 1.
2 weeks ago, I slept with my daughter's friend. Genuinely feeling anxious every day. My daughter has a very pretty 21-year-old friend. Before all of this happened, I remember thinking to myself, if I was younger, I'd totally date her. She's my type, blonde, tall, cute face, kind, etc. She's always been very nice to me. But suddenly she actually started teasing me. She started calling me daddy over text. She said, "Your daughter, so lucky. I wish you were my daddy." She texted me at night to ask me a question. It was an excuse, of course. I replied to the question, but she kept the conversation going. She said, "I'm in bed right now but can't sleep." Honestly, I'd totally want a hug. To keep it short, I couldn't keep it in my pants. I'm really not an excited dude drooling over young girls. My daughter has 7 to 8 close friends I see regularly. She's the only one I find pretty. Because she really is pretty, and I simply couldn't resist. I'm divorced. I started seeing someone else 2 months ago. But I wouldn't call that cheating since we aren't clearly a couple yet. I'm just anxious because I wouldn't want my daughter to find out. Yesterday she suddenly said we need to talk, and it scared the hell out of me. Basically every time I see her, I'm like, I hope she hasn't found out. I hope she hasn't found out. I hope she hasn't found out. End of the story. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Hit like and follow to subscribe for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.
Story number 2.
Am I the a-hole for exposing my half-sister's lies about our childhood? With 2 edits. I 24F have a half-sister 27F. We'll call her Taylor. My dad had weekend visitation with Taylor at our house. Until I was 8, and it was the worst. She bullied me really badly anytime I saw her. To the point that I would scream every time my dad even mentioned her coming over. Even if we were kept apart, she would break my things, upset my pets, and tell lies about me. Every week her mom would end up in the kitchen screaming at my parents. Taylor's mom died when she was 11. Her mom didn't have any family able to take her in, and nor did my dad. My dad was the only one who could get custody. When I was told about this, I freaked out, screaming, crying for hours, calling my grandparents and demanding to live with them, all of it. My mom wasn't willing to have Taylor in the house on that basis. And I'm pretty sure she said she would move out if my dad pushed the issue. Taylor ended up being sent to boarding school the next year. And she would go to stay with other members of my dad's family during breaks. When I was 14, my parents divorced. And I would see Taylor every few months at my dad's during school breaks. I'd learned to stand up for myself and she'd grown up. So there was no bullying, but we'd bicker. She was hostile and I never backed down. I didn't see her much after she went to college, and then I went to college far away as well. We now live in the same small city. I moved here in March. It's the kind of place where everyone from each generation knows of each other. I had never encountered Taylor socially, and never mentioned knowing her. But I had met her boyfriend and his friends are part of my larger social group. The other night, I was at a party, and Taylor and her BF were there as well. We made eye contact and waved, but she pretty much avoided me all night. During the night, our mutual friends asked how I know Taylor, and I said we are half-sisters. They all looked super uncomfortable and I pressed for an explanation. Basically, Taylor's been telling everyone that she was homeless as a kid because her stepmother and half-sister hated her and demanded she be shipped off to boarding school, and made her dad ignore her. Were it not for the fact that it was obviously going to come out sooner or later that we are related, I probably wouldn't have bothered to set the record straight. As it was, I'm going to be around these people for a long time. And I didn't feel I should have had to walk around burdened by the weight of her lies. So I told the group the context. She called me yesterday to yell at me. Apparently she's being ostracized from the group. Her relationship is in trouble. Her career opportunities are in jeopardy, etc. I don't see how any of this is my fault, because she's the one who lied. But according to some people, I should have been a bit more gentle in my retelling of the facts, because it's her experience and I basically blackballed her. Edit 1. I didn't have space for this. But just to clarify what I actually said to the friends. I explained that the reason my mom didn't want Taylor to live with us was because of the bullying. And that when they split, my dad still didn't have Taylor live with him. And that I only stayed with him on weekends, Taylor told them. I moved in with my dad so that she couldn't. I also told them it wasn't true. That I told my dad not to finance Taylor's business when she was 20, because I didn't. That was pretty much the gist of it. Edit 2. It was suggested I add this from the comments. I know the answer to these. My mom didn't say to send her to boarding school. What my mom said was, Taylor is not living in this house with my daughter. If that means we split. Then we split. My dad didn't want to be a full-time parent by himself. So he stayed with my mom. And since he didn't have any other family Taylor could live with for various reasons, he sent her to boarding school. My dad never cut contact with Taylor. He visited her at school. It was about an hour away. And sometimes he'd see her at other relatives' places during school breaks. When he moved out, Taylor would occasionally spend the day and maybe one break a year at his place. End of the story. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Hit like and follow to subscribe for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.
Story number 3.
Am I the a-hole for secretly paying my daughter's tuition? My wife Diana is a lawyer and so is her father, brother and uncles. They take pride in this and it is sometimes referred to as the family occupation. I am 48 and Diana is 47. Diana wants our children to go law school and become lawyers. Just like her, we have 3 children, Debbie 24, Mark 21, and Alice 18. Debbie is in law school and Mark has been accepted into one. Alice doesn't want to go law school nor become a lawyer. She wants to go to art school instead. My wife isn't happy about this, and they got into a fight. Diana told Alice that she should pay for her own education. I told Diana that this is ridiculous, and that Alice can't pay on her own. Diana wouldn't budge. Diana earns slightly more than I do, and we each pay into a joint account for any and all household expenses. What is left over we put on our individual accounts. We are generally free to do with this money as we please. But we have one rule: for very big expenditures we would ask the other before spending it. We also put money into 3 college funds for our children, and we are paying for Abby and Mark from these funds. After their fight, I told Alice that if she really wants to go, she should apply for art school and I would pay for it out of my individual account. She did and was accepted. After their fight, their relationship deteriorated and they weren't talking. Only yesterday did Diana find out that Alice is going to art school and that I am paying for it. She then got mad at me for breaking our promise of discussing big expenditures first. Then she called me an a-hole. I did break our promise but did it for our daughter. Am I the a-hole? End of the story. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Hit like and follow to subscribe for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.
Story number 4. Am I the a-hole for letting someone drink my friend's beer and refusing to pay them back? I 28M had a friend 29M, Brian, over almost 3 months ago where he brought a 12-pack of Coors and only drank half of it. When he left the remaining beers in my fridge despite me reminding him to grab them. Since then he came over twice for little things, and I told him to grab the beers he left, but he didn't. Come Saturday, I had a couple people over, and they asked if they could have the Coors, which I considered abandoned at this point, so say sure. They drank all of the remaining beers that night. Last night Brian came over for a minute and asked to grab his beers and I told him they were gone. He got angry that I gave his beers away and demanded I pay for the remaining beers. I refused, because I felt he had plenty of time to take or drink them and that he abandoned them at my place. Am I the a-hole? End of the story. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Hit like and follow to subscribe for more intriguing stories. Thanks for watching.